It's now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Braylon Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazawey. Let's talk some sports.
Hey, let's go Monday show, July 10th, 2023. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com, fox2detroit.com if you're watching live. However, you are consuming the network, we certainly appreciate it. Braylon Edwards on a hot, sunny day. Good afternoon to you.
God bless AC. Appreciate your Thomas Edison and Tesla. A side note, Ryan, that's how you make an interest right there, baby. That's what you call a photo finish of glory. I missed you.
I
missed you, brother.
Absolutely, Braylon
there,
Edwards. When you come in smiling, okay? When you come in smiling, there is no better situation possible in the day than when you get happy Braylon Edwards.
I put it to you this way. In the span of the last, 2 hours, I mean, obviously I had a chance to see my mom, my father, had a chance to spend some time with Baby Rain.
Oh, yeah.
Baby Rain's doing amazing. Got a chance to see my sister. I just had a meeting with my mentor and some of his friends who also, my father and my stepmom showed up. So in the span of about an hour and a half, I've seen damn near my whole family. So, family always puts a good smile on your face.
Unless you're Tom Mazawey and they cost you a couple of dollars.
That's
Good
a fact.
afternoon to you, Tom Mazawey.
Hey, fellas, it's good to see everyone's smiling faces. It's a Monday. We got the whole week this week. No little vacation times, no holidays. You got baseball at the halfway point, and it's All-Star. Next 2 days, All-Star week. Let's get it going.
Can I say something?
Please.
Maz, I looked to the left, and for a second, I didn't recognize the face to my left. I looked to the left. I'm used to seeing Tom Mazawey.
Man!
It's the old man and the kid, man. That's our podcast we do when you're not here.
I do like
it's the
that.
Old man and the kid.
I do like that. Yeah, I was up north for a couple of days. Let me say this about the state of Michigan. There is
hidden gem.
Look, maybe somewhere along the East Coast or the Northeast, maybe somewhere along the Pacific Ocean. I'm sure it's very beautiful.
Yeah.
There is nothing like the state of Michigan in the summer. Nothing like it. With all that fresh water, we're along Lake Charlevoix feeding into Lake Michigan. The state of Michigan, what we have to offer is second to none.
Yeah.
The beauty this state has to offer in all nooks and crannies, whether you're in Lexington or Bad Axe, Saugatuck or Holland, Leland or Leland, Gaylord, Grayling, Houghton, Charlevoix, Sheboygan, Mackinac, Sault Ste. Marie, whatever the case may be.
Nice going.
I see you right there.
Hell of a
That's
state.
pretty
You're
impressive.
like an atlas.
What a
I know,
hell of a
right?
state, man. It's incredibly beautiful.
It's all my selling points. Like when I was young and I was dating women and I was trying to convince them to come visit me in Detroit. It's hard to sell Detroit. It's hard to sell Michigan. And I would bring them here. We'd go up north. You see, like you said, we can go to some of the places that you see, and people instantly like, wait, this is Michigan? Or when you have to send people stuff, like, look, man, check out some of the, like the Northern Lights, which you'll actually be able to see in
Wednesday
Michigan
or
on Thursday.
Thursday,
I see you on it. But it's just a beautiful place. The only place that I've seen that is hands down more beautiful than Michigan is, like you said, it's the Pacific Northwest. Like California, once you start to get into San Francisco and that area, that's cheating. It doesn't really count. But outside of that, there's nothing that compares to Michigan. I agree, man. It's just, the further north you go, the more beautiful it is.
Well, big happenings in the city of Detroit last night with the big Drake concert. Tom, how'd that one work out for you?
Okay, I could give this to you guys. Here's what my daughters did. Now, Dad, we need tickets for Drake. Come on, we got to get him. Help us. This was months ago. So I go on. You know the scoop. I wind up finding them 4 tickets. No, they're not on the floor. I can't afford floor tickets. So I got them tickets, and they run me about $265 a piece with all the juice.
Where does that sit you, Maz? Where does that sit you?
$265. No, $265
The
gets
big
you.
screen outside?
No, $265 got them right by the stage, except not right in the lower tier, top of the lower tier.
It's like just outside Comerica Park.
Top of the lower tier.
Okay, that's good seats.
Good seats. Not good enough for them, though. Behind my back, they decided we're going to find 4 people to take these seats off our hands.
Oh, my gosh.
And we're going to find seats that are better. So, okay, it's up to you guys. Do what you want. They already paid me for the tickets because I made them each pay for tickets this time. Each gave me $250 each. I ate the $15.
Sure,
so
the
$250
fees.
Yeah, the fees. So nonetheless,
Right.
I give them the tickets, and I see they're working the phones. So Thursday night, I see all the girls are up the street at their friend's house, and they're all talking about this concert, and they're all on StubHub, Ticketmaster, all TickPick, all all things that you want to go
was
on.
I'm sorry, did you say?
I said TickPick.
Okay.
A million
Okay.
times
Nice.
I've said
Just me.
TickPick, and you guys keep asking me
You keep
if I'm
saying
saying
you guys
something
can,
else.
this is the first time I ever heard you
First
say.
time I've ever asked.
No,
I
no,
just
it's not
wanted
the
to
first
clarify.
time. It's not the first
I've
time.
never asked
Just
about
wanted you to
TickPick. I've never,
clarify.
Pick.
I've never even heard about TickPick. So how did I ask
No.
that question?
Okay. They kind of roll the juice into the tickets.
Man.
You don't pay fees, they say.
Okay,
But in
okay.
reality, you do. So they're all on there. Before you know it, they buy these
Tick
tickets. My daughter, Maddie, 16 years
Oh,
old,
my gosh. What'd she do?
hits a button. All of a sudden, I get an alert. My American Express just got hit for $1,800.
Oh, my God.
So the $1,000 that I spent is now $1,800.
Oh, my gosh.
So I'm like, I write him a text. I send him the picture. I'm like, what? WTF?
What the?
What is this? Who did this? Dad, we can explain. So it turns out, Lily's the one that stirred the pot, my oldest.
Right.
Because she loves Drake. She's got to go see him, got to get close. And then she spreads it to the other girls. So,
Like a virus.
like a virus. So the other girls are,
So she's the leader.
she's the leader.
Yeah.
She don't want to take credit for it, though.
But yeah.
But she's the leader.
She's a smart leader.
So my 16-year-old
It's
daughter
like Charles Manson.
hits the button after I explained to her a day prior. Be careful when you go on ticket sites because you think you're buying a ticket for $100 when in fact it's $180. Oh, Dad, I got it. She obviously made a mistake. They spent the extra $800. They got better seats. And so if you asked me before, how'd the girls like the concert? I didn't even ask them how they liked the concert because I'm still pissed that they did that. And I made Lily and Maddie, the two of them, pay me the $800 cash out of their caddy fees that they made the last few
You
weeks.
damn straight.
Split.
I
the
made them
800.
split and
What-
to eat the other two. Abby, I'm not letting Abby pay for it. It wasn't her fault. And I'm not letting Rachel, their friend, pay for it. It wasn't her fault.
So,
I'm like,
so Lily influenced Maddie.
Correct.
Lily, older daughter.
Yes.
Influenced 16-year-old daughter
Correct.
because she
Very-
figured
it's not hard to do.
She figured she would get in less trouble as a 16-year-old unaware
100%.
than the
well,
college junior.
I'm sure the older sister, Lily, didn't think the younger sister, Maddie, would be a dummy and push the button. So I ran them $800, and they gave me $800 cash when I put in the bank today to pay American Express.
Here's the great thing about this story. Like this is what I took out of this story. Besides the fact that the kids love Drake, much like everybody else does around the world, so they're not by themselves. The fact that they basically knew that Maz was going to make them pay, they still said F it.
They love
did
Drake.
And did it anyway and had the money to pay. You know what, Tom? I'm proud of you in this situation because your daughter was like, you know what? If Dad don't pay for it, we'll cover that. We'll cover that road when we get to it. You made them pay; they paid for it. This sounds like a great story.
Yeah, but here's the second thing. Lily has an older car, an 09 Buick.
Yeah.
And I want her to upgrade her.
Hey, I know a Buick dealer.
Hey, good. I want her to upgrade her radio to an Apple CarPlay and get a backup camera. So I price it all out. What do you think that would run?
$800.
Correct. So I told her, you just pissed away your car stereo.
Unbelievable.
Hey, you know what she's gonna say?
She said, Dad, it was worth it.
was Drake.
She told me. She told me it was worth it. I'm like, bullshit, it was worth it.
Oh, we apologize
No.
for any of the
Hey.
young kids out there who may be listening
Hey, look.
to the Ermanni and Edwards with Math program. We do not condone that language here.
The hell we do. No, I'm joking. But you know what, man? That is the thing. When you are a kid, Ryan, listen, you've been there before where you had to price something out and you said, look, I don't care if I'm going to be broke for the next 4 months.
Right.
I need this. When the Sidekick first came out, when I was in college, I saw it on Jay-Z Excuse Me Miss video. I saw it. Everybody had the two ways, but this was the Sidekick. I said, I have to have this machine. I said it looks cool. Jay-Z has it. It's the first time you can be mobile with AIM. Remember Instant Messenger?
Oh, yeah.
American Instant Messenger. So I was like, I have to have this. Ryan Ermanni, I saved up. I got the device. It's $424 out the door with the contract and everything else and the insurance. I didn't eat good for about 4 months, and I never had gas in my car. But I had that damn sidekick.
Unbelievable.
It was worth it.
It was worth it. Hey, before we move on and get into some pretty darn big sports talk, actually,
got
today.
Some good stories.
It's a good weekend, like I said.
I do have one thing I want to get to today. And I feel like everybody that's listening to this or watching us and everybody in this room, we can all understand what I'm about to say. I went to a sandwich shop today, and hell, I'll even tell you which one it was. It was Jimmy John's. And I
knew you were going to say Jimmy John's.
I shouldn't even signal Jimmy John's out in this particular case because everybody does it. But I went to get a sandwich, and then they charge you for the sandwich, and then that damn prompt comes up, 15, 20, 25 or other % when it comes to tip. I am so over the tip. Please
especially since
stop.
The sandwich is $11.
Please stop asking me
13.
if you want me to tip. Here's what you need to do. You need to pay your employees an extra $2 or even $3 an hour. If you want to pass that cost off to me as the consumer, I will gladly pay it.
They do.
Because you're going to do it anyway. So I will take it there. However you want me to do it, however you want me to take it, but I would feel better if you would just charge me $20 for the $11 sandwich than ask me if I want to give a tip or not. I just feel so nickel and dimed all over the place. They asked you at the self-checkout if you want to tip the damn machine. What is happening?
Dick's Sporting Goods always hits you for the, how about rounding it up? How about giving a donation? How about doing this?
Do you know what happens
Whole
there?
Foods does that too.
What happens
Go to hell.
is
those corporations, they own.
Those corporations, they then get the tax write-off.
Exactly.
If everybody is chipping in at the end of the day, that's a major free tax write-off for Taco Bell, for Dick's, for whoever. Insert corporation here. If they ask you, round up for the college fund, sounds good enough. No. It's just a way for these corporations to maybe give a few bucks away, but it's really how they go about getting a major tax deduction with your money.
Yo, Tom, Tom always sounds weird. Maz and Ryan, if you guys love this concept, there is an episode. Oh my God, he just jumped the curb to get that spot. There's an episode of South Park where basically Randy Marsh he gets bullied into tipping. Like he has to tip that extra.
They're way ahead of their time.
And this literally was before COVID. This is like 5 years ago, and he's at this Whole Foods and they have to tip, and then they shame him for not tipping. He's like, oh, it's our fault that you don't want to help the needy kids.
I've seen that.
So
one.
he keeps getting shamed. You would love it 100%. But going back to the tip, do you want to tip 15? Do you want to tip? Who am I tipping? Like who am I tipping them for? What is this tip going to them? Is this $2.50?
That's exactly right, Braylon.
Is this $2.50? Is it going to split between the person who rang me up at the cash register and said hello? Is it going to the person who made the sandwich?
Is it everybody on this shit?
Is it everybody on it? Does my $2.50 help everybody? Like I just don't get it. I've never been good at the picking up a sandwich tip.
I was having a great day today.
Yeah.
Bray, I was having a great day
It
today.
pissed you off?
It did. It truly affected me. It just pissed me off.
Listen to me.
The
When you
American
go to the ballpark now, it's cashless. So if you get the beer guy coming up, and I don't drink beer, but my wife does, maybe my friends do.
Yeah.
If it's a $40 bill, $45 bill, they give you the machine. You got to put your card on it, tap it, boop, then they ask you, tip. So the other day, my wife's like, oh, yeah. I'm like, what'd you tip the guy? She's like, I hit 20%. I'm like, you tipped him $8? When do you tip? I'm sorry. When do you tip the beer guy $8?
You don't.
You don't. You know why? They freaking rob you now, because in cash, $40, I would have gave him $45 max.
Exactly.
And that's it. $12. I would have given $14, $15 max. But they make it's painless now till you get home and get the bill. So I got home the other day from the ball game. I had like 6 different charges with like 20% tips on each
incredible,
one.
Did you say it's payless or painless?
Cash.
It's
Yes.
both.
Yeah, it's painless, but it's not painless.
It's
Cashless
cashless
and painful.
It's painful. They make it out, those guys.
So are the Detroit Red Wings. They finally get their man. They trade for Ottawa's Alex Debrincat. We will get to that next. But first, a message from Les Stanford, Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC, a trusted name for over 50 years. Les Stanford Buick GMC. Maybe they can take care of Lily's stereo.
Maybe.
Over there at Les Stanford Buick GMC in Ferndale on Woodward, just south of 9 Mile. Same great service that customers have come to know. Of course, if you're looking for a Chevy or a Cadillac, Les Stanford on Michigan Avenue in Dearborn, where they've been for over 55 years. You can find the brand you want under one umbrella. LesStanford.com. LesStanford.com.
Fine, new road.
Find them.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit. We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network. You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Big Boy Strawberry Fest has officially arrived, and we're here to show you the very best flavors of the season. Satisfy your sweet tooth with our deep-fried vanilla Oreos, strawberry hot fudge cake, and a slice of our classic strawberry pie. But that's not all. Cool off on a refreshing summer splash salad, or savor the flavors of our chicken Caesar wrap and strawberry bacon chicken wrap. And for breakfast lovers, don't miss out on our strawberry hotcakes or our mouth-watering red velvet waffle. Strawberry Fest is something for everyone. Celebrate the sweet season with us at Big Boy.
All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage. The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports. Detroit's winning sports network. We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
I will be here on Wednesday, 5 Iron Golf, downtown Detroit. 13 simulators, drinks, and food restaurant. It's the new place downtown Detroit to be, in the Cambria Hotel. If you go down there now, you tell them Woodward Sports has a promo code, you get half off, you get 50% off your bill. This is what you want to do. Look, it's fun to go downtown, but it is hot outside. Why not have a backup? 5 Iron Golf, downtown Detroit.
Hey, welcome back, WoodwardSports.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Woodward Sports on YouTube. Coming up on, we're about less than 400 subscribers shy of 45,000 on this platform. Tell a friend about Woodward Sports. And, of course, for all the latest news, articles, updates, show clips, and merchandise, WoodwardSports.com. I wanted to get to the Red Wings because we don't talk a ton of hockey on this show, and to be honest with you, rightfully so.
You got D-Mac from 11 to 1.
Well, you've got D-Mac from 11 to 1, but we want to talk about teams too that are interesting, teams that you feel like can do a thing or two in the game. The Red Wings have sucked for 6, 7, 8 years. Yeah. The Pistons have sucked for over a decade. It's hard to talk about teams continuously that suck outside of an NFL team because the NFL is king in this country.
And hockey's easy to detach yourself from if your team isn't good. Like, and I don't want to diss hockey, but like hockey, baseball, if your team's not good, it's easy to detach yourself from those two sports.
Absolutely. Yeah. But it does feel like the Red Wings got better yesterday. It feels like they have gotten better over the last couple of weeks in free agency. Now, Alex Debrincat is a 40-goal scorer. He comes from Ottawa. He's 25 years old. You saw or heard perhaps the Kevin Allen clip over the weekend when he was on with X's and Bros. And he said that he believed that there was a deal already in place for the Red Wings and Ottawa to get Debrincat to Detroit. But what was the holdup was the term and the money on the deal. Now with Debrincat, Steve Yzerman did not want to and could not give him more years than Dylan Larkin or pay him more than Dylan Larkin.
Although he's better, probably.
Although he is better than Dylan Larkin,
Yeah,
but
is.
that felt like a little bit of a red line for Steve Yzerman. He was apparently negotiating against himself because this is a player that was in the final year of his deal, that wasn't going to re-sign with Ottawa, that made it clear he wanted to come home. He's from Farmington Hills and play with the Detroit Red Wings the following year. So Steve Yzerman got an incredible deal, under $8 million, 4 years. So what was it, 7.8 per for 4 years. He's a 25-year-old player, 40-goal scorer. Will he score 40 goals next year with the Wings? Maybe, maybe not. You know, he's played with a better team probably last year in Ottawa. But we'll see. They got better. They needed goal scoring. They went out and got goal scoring.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes the best player is the highest paid. I mean, you look at Steve Yzerman and Sergei Fedorov when they came, when they were playing. But the thing I'm excited about this, look, I talked about this. I may not know a ton about hockey, but the one thing I talked about this a week and a half ago is like it was between them or the Islanders. Islanders didn't have any money. They had absolutely no money to throw at Debrincat. So, like you said, it was Steve Yzerman bidding against himself. But the thing I like about it, though, is Debrincat came for less. Like, when a player wants to go somewhere, now, obviously, you add the intangible that he's from here. He's from Farmington Hills. When a player wants to come somewhere, when a player wants to be somewhere and they'll take less money, a player wants to be part of something. Like a player sees something and sees an angle, and you got to be happy with those type of players. This is a major signing for the Detroit Red Wings, man, and we kept asking the question, like, will Stevie Yzerman be on the hot seat moving forward? Seems like he's getting a lot of young draft picks. It seems like he's making the smart decision in the long run. So It's a good move. It's a big day for him.
25 years old. He's going to get another contract. If he performs like he did in Ottawa, he'll double that money the next contract. And the Red Wings are going to make the playoffs. I said it before they got this deal done. Now for sure they are going to get in the playoffs in the East. Guaranteed.
Where does that leave the Pistons and the Tigers?
Well, look, I mean, that's the hope, Maz, and I think
I think they're definitely getting in.
Yeah, I mean, it would seem like the logical, likely next step that they make the playoffs.
Do they have enough money for Tyler Bertuzzi?
Well, he signed already. He's
that's right.
just signed with Toronto, that one-year deal. But
Just a one-year deal.
You still do have some cap space to go out there and make another move. I think, Steve Yzerman is – look, he didn't really give anything away either. I mean, he really didn't give anything away. And the first-round draft pick is a conditional first-round draft pick. It's not.
They never pick in the top 5 anyway. What
Exactly, right. So,
7 or less.
Right. What's it going to be, 12, 15, 20? Fine. But
you got a bona fide goal scorer.
Exactly. But, you think about Little Caesars Arena, too. And in the same with Ford Field, when you think about the Pistons and the Red Wings really more so than the Pistons. But Joe Louis Arena became an iconic place, same as the Palace, because of all the iconic moments within that building. There have been no iconic moments when it comes to sports.
Right.
Sure, individual performances aside, there have been no team success in that building. That's why Little Caesars Arena has no character. It's got no memories. It's got nothing. And the same, really, with Ford Field and the Detroit Lions.
Fact.
Ford Field is just like a big arena with seats, and it gets loud every once in a while if the Lions play on a Monday night.
It's like an exhibition center.
Absolutely. So you don't remember anything. There's no winners there that are playing in these stadiums, and that's why you hope with a signing like a trade and a sign of Debrincat that it gives you the opportunity to get into the playoffs and have moments.
The only thing that sucks about LCA, as it stands, the Detroit Red Wings of the 90s, the Detroit Reds of the 2000s, they basically played that well. They played at an expert level, at a high level. They won 4 cups. They basically paid for LCA, but they don't get to enjoy in LCA. It's the team that hasn't had success that's getting to enjoy it. But the good thing about the way LCA is set up, it's set up for the Red Wings. Like that's the place the Red Wings play. The Pistons just happen to play there as well. So once they have some type of success, once they have a run, once it goes the right way that Stevie Eisman seems like he's building, that place is going to be a madhouse for the Detroit Red Wings, and it's set up beautifully for them to have success, for this to be their new home. Like the Pistons, if they have success, it'll still be the Red Wings place.
But let me tell you, Bray, just to that point, that I think we say that, and I've kind of thought that too.
Yeah.
Because it feels like the Pistons are so far away from any type of success, real, legitimate success. I guarantee you, if it's a game 6 or 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals, that place is going to feel like it's the Pistons building and everything about it. I think, too, a lot of that Pistons stuff, it feels like they're second in nature, because if you believe, and I forgot who told us this, but the idea of the Isaiah Thomas statue at LCA was scrapped because it's a Pistons thing, and they want it to be a Red Wings building. The Pistons are just paying a lease.
That's too bad.
Yeah, you definitely paying a lease. Like when you walk around there, like I mean, you see a couple Pistons things
all
here.
hockey.
That's all hockey. The statues are hockey. I mean, you know, every time I go there, I'm right there. I take the picture with D-Mac. They got the guy you can put your inside the shoulder pads and the whole uniform. It's a Red Wings place, man. But hopefully Pistons do have some success there.
And that's a sin. And I think the Illich's really got to step it up and talk to Goris and make this happen. You got to put some Pistons in there. There's some great Pistons throughout the years. Make it half and half, man, or make it 3 quarters and a quarter. Whatever it takes, man. But they deserve to have their monikers all over. It should look a little bit like the Palace, for crying out loud.
I agree, and I feel like it's disrespectful.
It is.
When you look at it just from this standpoint, Ryan.
They're not an expansion team.
They got three Larry O'Briens. Yeah. They have 3 Larry O'Briens. How many teams don't have a Larry O'Brien? They have 3 Larry O'Briens. They have tradition. They have history. They got Hall of Famers. They got some of the best players to ever have played the game. You got to do something for the Pistons, man. It's not like we're clamoring for you to put somebody in there, a team that doesn't deserve, like the Wizards. Mm-hmm. Like, come on, man.
You don't think kids would take a picture with Isaiah's statue, Ben Wallace's statue?
Yeah.
Really?
You see a statue of Ben Wallace with an afro? Yeah. Oh, man, that would be great.
It would be awesome.
It would be a landmark.
You know, with the...
Even Comerica's got a little history. They got 10 good years of history.
Absolutely.
1887.
Absolutely. You've had no hitters there, a 25-out perfect game. You've had 2 World Series played there, an All-Star game played there. I mean, they're up and down. Yankees AL Division Series, there's a lot of excitement in that home run against the A's. You could.
I never would have bet. That was the best feeling.
Yeah.
That I've had here since I've been to Detroit, and I've had the Red Wings, the Pistons, and the Tigers, all of them, not the Lions, but I've been in all of them, and that Maglio, that was unbelievable. That felt so great to be a Tiger fan back then.
I always feel, and I was in the dressing room when the Red Wings won the Stanley Cup in 2008 against Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. And I was on the field when the Tigers beat the Yankees in 2006 in the division series.
Beat the hell out of them.
And we're spraying champagne. And I will tell you, this might sound totally weird, but that 2006 Tigers spraying, there was something about it that was just so surreal and euphoric. The Red Wings Cup number 4 was great, and it was an experience that you can't even imagine that you're in that situation. But I'll never forget when the Yankees went down to the Tigers in the AL Division Series in 2006. And the team came out and sprayed champagne on everybody. That's the thing that these moments are made of. That's where these buildings are made. I have one other thing to say about the Red Wings. I'd like to do that next, and it comes to their playoff history and the 4 local guys now back on the team. Not back on the team, but playing for the team. We'll get to that next, but first a message from Guardian Alarm. They're your local security experts and have been for over 90 years. When you see this black and yellow sign out in front of your house, it tells the bad guys one thing:
stay out.
Whether you are at home or on the road, they're 24/7 professional monitoring, customized solutions from real experts, and technology backed by people means you are backed by the best. Call this number right here, 1-800.
Stay out.
That number again, 1-800.
Stay out.
Call Call them today. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
Stay out.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today. We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zuniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit. A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Yeah. If you want to be verified, you do.
Well, okay.
Screw you,
Verified.
I didn't pay. I've been verified since 2000.
Since birth?
No, well, Stan had. I was verified since 2010, and then they took my blue check back, and I didn't look to pursue it.
We're just talking about the new threads
Like
that are
everybody
out
has
there,
one now.
comparing it to Twitter. Twitter's got all these new rules that if you're not verified, you can only see X amount of tweets.
Do you know why they're doing that?
I guess they want money, or
No.
the bots?
No, they're trying to make sure that that what you see is a real person and get rid of the bots.
Yeah,
Get
I
rid
would love that.
So that's why they're doing that for the time being. They've already increased those limits.
But that's an excuse. We're trying to get rid of bots. Meanwhile, we're trying to collect this money back for, like you said earlier, this $44 billion we dropped on Twitter.
You don't have to pay for that. I mean, you don't have to pay for that. I mean,
pay for what you said. You said the reason why they're getting more verified accounts is so they can get away from the bots.
Yeah, I mean, Meta, and Facebook, and Instagram, if you want to be verified, have to pay too. I mean, that's not.
I didn't know you
to
could
Twitter.
even be
verified
on Facebook.
Exactly.
Facebook?
Yes, Facebook.
I'm just simply saying that you saying the reason is because to get rid of the bots. I'm saying that's some BS excuse that they gave you guys. Meanwhile, it's to put money in their pocket, much like everything else.
Well, I mean, you could look at it however you want. I mean, that limit is already increased as they've gotten rid of more bots. You can they put a limit on what you can see if you are unverified, and that limit is already increased because they're getting rid of the bots.
Okay, that's good then.
So yeah, I mean, it is a good thing.
I'm a Twitter guy.
Yeah,
I get
I
all my news from Twitter.
I will not be signing up for Threads.
I did. I gave it a shot. See what it's like.
I can't handle one more social media company.
If you don't use it, you don't use it.
I can't handle one more. I just can't.
You really
run
don't
by
see the reasons to make more money?
Huh?
You really don't see the reasons to make more money?
Oh, it absolutely not the limit thing.
Right.
Not the limit thing.
Okay.
Not the limit thing, because the limit thing's already been increased. It was like for a couple of hours or like a day or two.
Right.
Yeah, that limit's already been increased. What you can see if you're unverified, or if you're unverified.
Did you notice my laptop's working now?
Oh yeah, baby, look at you.
It's not a prop anymore.
It just randomly started working. Go ahead.
Very good. Hey, I wanted to make this point about the Red Wings playoff history as well, because ESPN sent out a tweet today that the Red Wings now with Alex Debrincat have 4 players on their roster that are from the area. Dylan Larkin from Waterford, Alex Debrincat from Farmington Hills, Andrew Kopp from Ann Arbor, and Austin Zarnik from Detroit. 4 Michigan-born players. And you think about that unique draw to the Red Wings. These are players that are in their 20s. But even these Red Wings players now have virtually never seen any success.
Right.
If you think about that, Alex Debrincat is 25 years old. The Detroit Red Wings have not made the playoffs in 7 seasons. They have not won a playoff series in 10 seasons. So he was 15 years old the last time they even won a playoff series.
But they won a cup with him in his teens.
So he's 25, and they won. So they won a cup when he was 11.
Okay, 11.
No, when he was 10.
10.
When he was 10 years old.
Yeah, it's like the Knicks and me. I was 11 when they won, and I
Yeah.
was 9 when they lost, 10 when they lost. But I always remember my New York Knicks.
Yeah.
Always. So he'll always remember the Red Wings.
I guess
he will.
I guess that's a fair point. It's just when you think about like this 25-year-old like I feel like the Red Wings were good yesterday.
Yes,
you
that's
know what
true.
I mean. You can't
That's real.
imagine that it's been 10 years since they won a playoff series.
Correct.
I grew up. I'm old enough to remember when the Red Wings went 26 straight years with making the playoffs. Let alone now they're on their way to 26 straight years of not making the playoffs.
That ends this year.
You know what's so funny is, man, like you ask the question always, it's like who won the trade, talking about between the Los Angeles Rams or the Detroit Lions. When you win a championship, and like that's something that you can never take back. Like that's moments that you create for kids, for families, for forever. So when you talk about who won, just listen to you talk about the moments we've had. That's why winning a championship is so important. Shoot, the Los Angeles Rams won the trade because they can forever remember that Super Bowl trophy they held up 2 years ago. You can win a championship is freaking hard, man.
Speaking of that, how about and I know I'm just bringing it up out of the blue. He brings up the Rams.
Yeah.
And we've been talking about it for months. But they were trying, and they're still trying, I think, to trade Matthew Stafford.
I'm glad you brought that up because the minute he said the Rams, I was going to mention this. So Michael Lombardi went on one of I forget which show he went on.
Right.
But he said that, the Rams were trying really hard this offseason to essentially dump Matthew Stafford, trade him for anything. And they were unsuccessful in doing that. And I wanted to bring that up to Braylon, not because it's breaking news, but because is that a pattern now of the Rams organization and Sean McVay? We consider McVay this, I think, really, really damn good offensive coach.
Right.
Really good. He's a Super Bowl winning coach. There's only a very few people that can say that they're a Super Bowl winning head coach. He's one of them. But he got rid of Jared Goff, threw him to the trash, essentially. At the time he traded Jared Goff to Detroit, it was like throwing Jared Goff to the trash. Matthew Stafford wins a Super Bowl for him, and a year and a half later, he's trying to dump him for whatever the case may be. If you're a player for the Rams, if you're a quarterback for the Rams, Braylon, do you start thinking like, who is this guy?
No, that's not how I think about it. If I'm a quarterback for the Rams, I think about the world that I live in 2023. Everybody's trying to get that quick fix and then move on. Everybody's like, hey, this is only going to be hot for so long. What's the next trend? What's the next phase? In football and offense, what's the next offense? Is it 6 wide? Is it 7 wide? Obviously, I'm being funny. But what can we do? Who's the next quarterback? You only have a certain amount of window. If your quarterback, and I think this is how Sean McVay sees it. If your quarterback isn't Tom Brady, if it isn't Aaron Rodgers, hell, Aaron Rodgers was there for how long? How many Super Bowls did he win? If it isn't Patrick Mahomes, that's really the one. If your quarterback ain't if your quarterback isn't Joe Burrow or Patrick Mahomes, you got to have a guy. You got to keep figuring out until you get it right. Why wait into one mold? Why be stuck with Jared Goff and it didn't work? Why be stuck with Matt Stafford and he's old and you don't trust it? You got to strike while the iron's hot. So I think that might just be the new strategy. Shoot, 5 years, get a quarterback in, get him, boom, get him in, get him out. Unless they're doing something like continuously winning Super Bowl, or unless you're Jerry Jones and you just want to pay Dak forever.
Hey, they tried their best to dump him prior to his bonus kicking in, his new contract at $50 million just about a month ago. Remember when that kicked in,
Sure.
that escalator? They didn't want to pay that, but now they are. If they do trade him to someone, the Rams are going to eat probably at least half that contract up. I think Matthew Stafford still got some tread on the tires, and I think he can help a team. I don't know. You guys, I think it was you, right? I think the Rams can make a run this year.
There's no doubt about it. In fact, they're my sleeper team to make the playoffs in the NFC. The only part about the Rams that just really I wrestle with, because I do think Matthew Stafford is a top 6 quarterback in the NFC, and anytime you have one of those guys, I think you have a chance. But if you look at their schedule right off the bat, at Seattle, San Francisco, at the Bengals, then they've got one against the Colts, and at home against the Eagles. 4 of their first 5 games, it's like a murderer's row. Seahawks, 49ers, Bengals, and Eagles. Are you kidding me? Ooh. Get out of here.
You talking about the Rams?
Yeah. A slow start might just bury them, but if they can come out of that,
their second half of the schedule is horrible.
2-3, I mean, then
that might be 0-5.
I'm lobbying on behalf of you.
Yeah, right.
I'm saying the second half of their schedule, they don't play anybody. Like, if you want to be honest, if you look at the greatness of the quarterbacks, everything now is about who are the quarterbacks you play. They really only play 3 of the elite. If you want to know, they play Jalen Hurts, they play Joe Burrow, and they play Patrick Mahomes. And that's it. And then it's a bunch of who's going to be the quarterback for the 49ers.
They do not have the Chiefs.
Not the Chiefs. It's Joe Burrow, it's Justin, Jalen Hurts, and there's one more quarterback. Lamar Jackson in the second half. Lamar Jackson is the 3rd quarterback on the schedule.
You're right.
Outside of that, it's a bunch of Kenny Pickett's. It's a bunch of quarterbacks like that he's going to be the best quarterback in those games. So I understand from that standpoint. I don't even know if Cooper Kupp's going to be on that team. I got the Lions making a move for Cooper Kupp, man.
Wouldn't that be something? I've seen that thrown out there too.
I'm telling you.
You just never know what is going to happen. And Braylon, this might be the perfect scenario to make a trade for a guy like Cooper Kupp, for a guy like Aaron Donald.
Who discovered Cooper Kupp?
It was Brad Holmes.
Brad Holmes. He got paid 2 years ago. So by the time Jameson is ready to get paid, that money will have gone significantly up. So you're basically getting one of the best wide receivers in the league at a price who you're familiar with, who fits into this mold, this grit, this Detroit Lions identity. He fits in it like no other, man. I'm telling you, make a move. Like you talked about there being one last move maybe that Brad Holmes might make. I'm telling you, I'm all here for going after Cooper Kupp. You start the season off right. Cooper Kupp is one of those type of players. He played quarterback. He could figure out this Lions offense by the time that Thursday night comes around. I'm all for it.
I do believe that, the Rams are a team that seems like they are willing to deal if they get off to a bad start as well. And I think it would take the perfect storm. Now, that would mean that the Lions get off to a good start as well. And you've got Kansas City and Seattle, boom, boom, right off the top. So that would mean they would have to get off to a really good start.
Jared Goff got hurt during preseason. They're trading him.
Well,
that would be
well, perhaps, but I think it's going to take the perfect storm for the Lions to maybe part ways with a 2024 first-round pick, if that's what it takes to get a guy like, and who knows if Aaron Donald would even accept a trade, but a guy like Cooper Kupp might.
He's familiar with Jared Goff as well.
Right.
Hey.
I think it's a really interesting time. Hey, let's stick with the Detroit Lions if we can, because a former NFL GM says he doubts that the Lions will be successful. This is really the first time we've seen this on a national scale this year, really in a large scope anyway.
Did he give his name?
Yes, he did.
Oh, this is the first.
We'll tell you who the former NFL general manager is and why he doubts the Lions will be good or better than their 9-8 record last year. Give his reasons next, but first a message from Big Boy.
All right, guys, Strawberry Fest continues and started off with a great breakfast, the strawberry hotcakes, the mouth-watering red velvet waffle. And then if you don't want breakfast, how about a little lunch, the strawberry bacon chicken wrap, or a nice summer splash salad for a little refreshing treat for you on the midday. And then, of course, dessert, second to none at Big Boy, the strawberry pie, the classic strawberry pie, the vanilla Oreo, the deep fried vanilla Oreo, or the strawberry hot fudge cake. And of course you can get the famous burger. You know what it's called. It's called the Big Boy.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports. The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports. Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Woodward Sports Network, however you are watching or listening, thank you very much for doing so.
Appreciate you.
Whether it's watching on YouTube, on your couch, whether it's listening through the Fox 2 News app, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, however you're doing it, we appreciate it.
You know, I'm always bringing in some what to watch, what I watch, kind of keeping you guys abreast if you're looking for something. Season 2 of The Lincoln Lawyer. If you follow The Lincoln Lawyer on Netflix, a damn good show. Season 2 with Mickey Holler is back on. I finished it this weekend. It was pretty good. And if you're looking for a kids movie, kids, or you're a big adult at heart or a big kid at heart, Nimona is a good movie for the kids to watch. It's about not judging a book by its cover.
Can't do that. You never win.
Nope.
Guys, let me put up this this tweet here because I think it was Mike Payton who put it up, and it kind of drew me to this Arizona website about a former NFL GM has concerns about the Lions. And there was a couple of things that he said. One in which was in regards to DeAndre Swift. He does not think that the Lions are better at the running back position with Jahmyr Gibbs and without DeAndre Swift. Let me just start there with you, Braylon. Do you think that is a fair assessment? This is former NFL GM Randy Mueller.
To be honest, if I'm thinking from devil's advocate and I'm putting myself in a situation to look at it objectively or subjectively, like DeAndre Swift was special coming out of college. Like DeAndre Swift was definitely special coming out of University of Georgia. You saw that. A lot of people were very excited to have him as the number one back in that draft. And you saw it in moments. You saw those flashes. I mean, we remember opening game against the Philadelphia Eagles. You remember game 2 against Seattle. When he was healthy, you remember those flashes. David Montgomery maybe necessarily hasn't shown him that. Maybe Jahmyr Gibbs in college, maybe he didn't watch Jahmyr Gibbs at Georgia Tech. Maybe he didn't really dive into what Jahmyr Gibbs was at Alabama. But we're thinking that those two are going to be better than DeAndre Swift. We're hoping that those two are going to be better than DeAndre Swift. So I believe that they're going to be, but I can understand why he would say that, because DeAndre Swift, when it was right, it was special. It was just he could not stay on the field, so I can understand why he would say that.
You know how I feel about Swift.
Yeah.
I was very disappointed that they let him go. And I know he was the squeaky wheel. It's his 5th-year option. He wants out. He wants to go and try to show the rest of the NFL that, hey, I'm a worthy NFL running back. I think they made a bad mistake letting him go to Philly. I would rather have kept him here. Yeah. And you don't know what you get. You don't know what Jahmyr Gibbs is going to give you. You hope. It's like when I play fantasy baseball, and my buddy, they want to get, let's say, Zach Gallen from my team, who was an ace for the Arizona Diamondbacks, one of the aces in baseball. Great pitcher. Maz, send me him. I'm going to give you these 3 guys. They are the top 5 prospects in baseball. No, they haven't played yet. They're still in college. They're coming up. They're a prospect. They're guaranteed to be a great major leaguer. No, there's no guarantee that any of these guys are going to be good. You already know what Swift gives you. So I understand what he means by that. Did we get pissed that he played about 55% of the snaps? Yeah, damn right we got pissed. And it sucked. But when he was out there, he was a monster, man.
So it sounds like you're on the. So it sounds like you definitely understand him.
Yes,
where he's
I
coming
totally
from.
do.
And Maz, you absolutely have every right to feel that way. Like I said, man, when it was right, like when you saw that, that glimpse, it was special. When someone's disappointed, Ryan, like when someone's disappointed, like for Maz to say, I'm disappointed in Swift not working out. I'm disappointed that he wanted to leave, and I'm disappointed that the Detroit Lions gave him to essentially their rival for the NFC. Then that means they believe that guy was special. Then that means that they believe that it may not get better. So that's why he has a little bit of validity to what he wrote.
Can I just want to reshape this, rephrase this. This has nothing to do with an Arizona website. It's A2Z Sports.
Yes.
A2Z,
So
yeah.
I just wanted an A2Z Sports. I initially looked at it, and I think Arizona, for whatever reason, obviously
It does.
A2Z. But and Randy Mueller wasn't picking on the Lions here. He was going through every NFC team, picking what his concerns are
Correct.
with Detroit. But these are his concerns. He does not think they're going to be better than their 9-8 record next year. He does think that they got worse at the running back position. He does not see Jahmyr Gibbs as an upgrade over DeAndre Swift.
So I will agree with the assessment. I will agree with understanding the assessment of the second part. The running back assessment, Ryan, I understand why he says that, but I think Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery are going to be better. I think by the time it's all said and done the rest of the season, people are going to look at Jahmyr Guns, maybe look at his guns too, but Jahmyr Gibbs will be the feature running back for the Detroit Lions before the season's over, including David Montgomery. But I do see on the defensive line, you remember the one position that I wanted to draft more than anything. It was the interior defensive line. I wanted Jalen Hurts so bad. Like, I thought that was a hell of a move.
Jalen Carter,
Jalen Carter, excuse me. I wanted Jalen Carter. I thought that was a hell of a move. I thought it was necessary. I know we have Isaiah Buggs. I know we have Aleem McNeil. But we had those two individuals last year when the Carolina Panthers just dominated the line of scrimmage and ran right down their throats. So that's the one thing I do agree and I do see. They got better on the outside. They didn't necessarily get better on the interior, and that's the one thing I could see could be a problem early on.
Before I get to Randy Mueller's second major concern with the Detroit Lions coming up in 2023, I do want to pick a bone with you, Tom Mazawey, just about your DeAndre Swift.
Yeah.
Just you seem to be so embedded in this DeAndre Swift situation. One, the guy is never healthy. That you cannot count on him. That's one. And two, I understand you want to keep him here. You wish they would have kept him here as a piece, as a talent,
yes.
As an athlete. But these guys aren't pieces of paper.
I know.
They do have human emotion.
Right.
This isn't a video game.
I get it. He did sign a contract, though.
I understand that, but you can't keep a player here if he's gonna be miserable. If he's going to act as, remember at the top of the show when you were talking about your oldest daughter, Lily, kind of permeating through down the weeds and affecting your 16-year-old daughter, Maddie?
Yeah.
You cannot allow DeAndre Swift to be here permeating through this negative attitude in the locker room. You just can't have it.
That's good, right?
Maz, look, this is not 1982. Like, guys sign and want to leave all the time. Hell, coaches sign and don't want to be there anymore.
I'm just pissed that they gave him to the Eagles.
And I understand
But to Brace so right about this, though.
Guys get in and shoot. I mean, it's not the first time. I mean, shoot, like Eli Manning in the draft decided he didn't want to go to the team that drafted him.
John Elway didn't want to go.
Right.
Right. The Colts.
But listen, Braylon's got this. Braylon's totally right about this. And it pains me to say that Braylon is totally right about this. I do not take great pleasure in saying that Braylon is totally
What's he right about?
This.
Everything.
Everything.
What's he right?
Here's where he's right. Brad Holmes does not send him to the Lions' chief competition in the NFC if he feels that he's sending them a really damn good player. He just doesn't do it. He's not doing DeAndre Swift a solid just to send him to his hometown. He's not doing it if he thinks he's sending the Eagles a great player.
100%. Like, if I'm the Injustice, I'll take it to comic books for you, JB. If I'm the Injustice League and I'm fighting against the Justice League, and they just whoop my ass. I'm not about to give them my best gun too in the trade. Like, man, you know what? How about you guys take? You know what I'm saying? You don't do that. You don't give a team that you know is going to be better than you, or that was better than you last year. You don't give them a piece that could take them over the level. You give them a piece that's going to mess them up and be like, damn, now I wonder why Detroit gave us that piece. 100%.
I hope you're right.
I mean, Brad Holmes, I met him. I called him a mad scientist before I met him. Had a chance to meet him. Super intelligent dude, super down-to-earth dude. I know this dude's not giving them DeAndre Swift with the mindset DeAndre Swift at Georgia. He's giving them DeAndre Swift with the mindset of what the Detroit Lions have seen for the last 2 years and what they've seen in the locker room. He was like, oh, no. Y'all can have him. Hit me in December. We'll talk.
That's fine.
Yeah.
So I hope Randy Mueller is wrong.
Right. Well, let me get to the second point, and I probably should save this for the next segment, but I'm going to get to it now. Let me give you the point. Let me read the point, and then we'll react to it after the break. Is that fair?
Yep.
Fair.
Here's what he has to say. This is the quote from Randy Mueller, former NFL general manager in a couple of different places, New Orleans, Miami, and Seattle, I believe.
Who?
Seattle, New Orleans, and Miami. He's involved in the front offices of those three organizations. This won't be a surprise to anyone, least of all to Lions fans, but the biggest concerns I have for this team are on defense. The Lions rank 28th in scoring defense and 30th in getting off the field on third downs, allowing a 45% conversion rate. They allowed 5.2 yards per rush, to your point about the interior defensive line. Only the Chargers were worse. All despite blitzing 33% of the time, which was the 6th highest in the league. In all likelihood, to try to stop the bleeding. After week 7, when the Lions were 1-6, Dan Campbell fired defensive backs coach Aubrey Pleasant, and the other internal changes were contemplated. Credit defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn for blocking out the noise and temporarily propping up this side of the ball to an even-keeled side of the ball with an even-keeled personality and improved execution. And then he goes into the Lions signings this year, but he believes that the Lions defense is a major problem, a major factor into what he believes would be a lack of success in 2023, however you want to characterize it. He does not believe that the Lions are going to be better than their 9-8 record next year. Can you hold that thought, Braylon? I'll get a break in.
Yeah, I got it.
And then we'll come right out to you, hour number 2 of the program next. But first, a message from Fairway Packing Company. Fairway Packing, for over 60 years, has provided Michigan's finest restaurants, hotels, and casinos with prime beef, Wagyu beef, and dry-aged beef. Experience the Fairway difference yourself today. Visit the steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods for grab-and-go steaks. Order online at fairwaypacking.com. Fairwaypacking.com.
Source, age, prime, cut to perfection.
Perfection.
How about that rookie? He is something else. How big is that?
All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage. The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m. We are the network for Detroit. By Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
Hour number 2 here on Woodward Sports. It's a Monday. Thanks for listening, watching, however you're doing it. In your car, at home, watching, listening. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazawey. We got JB in the audio booth, and of course Parker Brown. He is the technical director today. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Braylon, I want to come to you first. Yes, absolutely.
Can I drop something regular?
Please.
So I have Apple. I subscribe to Apple News now, so I get all these random news notifications. That's how we were able to do that segment about the random stories last Friday. Saw that the infamous doctor, Team USA Gymnastics from Michigan State, Larry Nassar.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
He got a little beat today.
So Larry Nassar got a little pokey, got stabbed up in jail, man. What you got to take on that? I wonder what took so long.
Stabbed in the back and the chest.
2 in the neck, 6 in the back.
Yeah.
What took so long?
He's stable condition though, but that's a beat
good.
down.
I don't want him to die.
That's
too easy.
I don't wish death on anybody, especially
too easy.
You need to sit there for 100+ years.
Yeah, too easy. Don't give him an easy way out.
I don't know though, man.
Still makes me sad though.
Torture's not an easy way out, man. Taking one of them black sites.
Well, I mean, yeah, just make him suffer a little bit more. I'm all for the suffering.
I just don't know what I'd have been.
Yeah.
One of them would have been my daughters.
Yeah, I'd want him to suffer. Ooh. I mean, I'd want him to suffer the maximum amount of pain
by my hands
that you could possibly do to somebody. Probably, if that was my daughter.
I agree.
I'll just be honest with you. I'll be real with you. And I would not want him dead. I'd want him to
I see him once. You remember?
Maybe get another crack at it.
One of my favorite movies of all time is speaking of crack at it. One of my favorite movies of all time is Count of Monte Cristo.
Oh yeah.
Remember his gift once a year. He got a crack at that whip.
That's right.
That would be the same. The Chateau d'If was the name of the prison. We need to throw Larry Nassar in the Chateau d'If.
No doubt, man. No doubt about it. That was a bit of a breaking news yesterday. That happened yesterday, but it was announced today.
Sorry. You're talking about the Lions and the defensive line.
So just to reset it for you, Randy Mueller, who is former general manager in the NFL, goes through all the NFC teams and picks 2 problems or concerns, as he calls them, with each team. The 2 concerns he had with the Lions, and he does not believe, by the way, I think the overarching theme is he does not believe that the Lions are going to be better than their 9-8 record from 2022. And 2 of the reasons that he gives for that is, 1, he does not believe that they're better at running back. He does not see Jahmyr Gibbs as an upgrade over DeAndre Swift. And 2, which we have not commented on yet, Braylon Edwards, is he a huge gaping hole on defense. And yes, they made some signings. Yes, they made some significant signings in the offseason and draft picks.
Right.
But they were 28th in the league last year in scoring defense. They had a conversion rate of 45%, allowing third down. They could not get off the field. 45% conversion rate on third down. That's a problem. How much can that improve this year? We'll see, but that was a concern for him.
Do you know what's good? What's considered good for the NFL in terms of third down conversion rate? And I'm not talking about what they tell you the stat and say, oh, yeah, your 40% is a good thing or 42%. NFL, I mean, offensive coordinators are cool with 38.5. They just want to tell you.
I was gonna say, if you can get off the field 6 out of 10 times.
Exactly. 38.5. That's
essentially
what they want.
40%.
45%.
Yeah.
45%. Ryan, the best defensive line in the NFL is probably between 2 teams, right? Mm-hmm. It's probably either the Eagles or it's the 49ers. It's the 49ers. I'll help you out. The 49ers probably had the second or first best defensive line last year, Ryan and Ermanni.
Uh-huh.
Last year. What did they do in the offseason? They picked up Javon Hargrave, the most expensive free agent, and put him right in the middle of Eric Armstead, of Nick Bosa, who's probably going to be could be defensive player of the year again. They went and picked up Cleveland Farrell, who won the
Cleveland, former first-round pick.
Exactly.
For the Raiders.
Exactly. They went and picked up Cleveland Farrell. I mean, you look at the
he's not that good though.
Shoot, coming off the bench, when you don't have to be the man, it's different. When you say, hey, man, look, just give me about 12 plays, I can find you a sack in 12 plays when I don't have to be the man. They went and revamped their defensive line. The Lions had ample opportunity to do something in the middle, and they did it. They stuck with Isaiah Buggs. They stuck with Aleem McNeil. I hope those players work out. That was the one thing I said, I wish they would do something about the interior lineman. I never wavered from wanting a defensive interior lineman with that pick at 6. So we'll see what happens. I know they got better on the outside. And the secondary, I think what the Lions are banking on, Ryan and Monty, is we don't talk about the running back position anymore. I mean, you got, 6 guys last year that went over 1,000. So the fact that you're going away from the running back position because the quarterback has become that, I'm thinking Brad Holmes is starting to look at it as maybe I don't need to put a ton of money in the middle like a Chris Jones for the Kansas City Chiefs or like a Javon Hargrave for the 49ers. Maybe we put the money outside and let the secondary, if you got guys that are covering guys, if guys can't get open, what starts to happen with the ball, Ryan? Quarterback starts patting that ball, and when the quarterback starts patting that ball, you'll start to get some defensive sacks. So maybe that's the genius behind it. But right now, that's the one thing I still wish we would have did something about the interior defensive line.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that. I also believe that, the Lions did get better this offseason, and especially through the draft. They essentially got, let's just put it, Jahmyr Gibbs and Jack Campbell for Jalen Carter.
Yeah.
They got 2 starters for 1, essentially. And I think
like that way of thinking.
If you give me that option now, if I told you Jalen Carter or Jahmyr Gibbs and Jack Campbell, I'd probably take Jahmyr Gibbs and Jack Campbell right now.
Do me a favor. First game of the season, the Detroit Lions played Kansas City Chiefs. Watch how the offensive line is when
Mahomes?
Yeah, Mahomes. I'm talking about Patrick Mahomes. Talking about the defensive line for the Detroit Lions. So watch the offensive line for Patrick Mahomes. Watch how all they're going to do is they're going to double and press the linemen out. So James Houston on one side, Aiden on one side. They'll push those guys out. Patrick Mahomes is going to step up. Watch the step-up package all game long for Patrick Mahomes because they don't trust the interior defensive lineman, and that's going to be game planned out. Watch the interior defensive line that whole game.
Yeah, that's another part, too. I'm not sure you can judge the Lions' defense by what happens against Patrick Mahomes.
Well, that's true, but you'll be able to see what they start taking advantage of. You'll start to see it right down. It'll be right in the middle. It'll be right in front of your face, like right down the middle.
I'll ask you this question a lot.
Like the center gap. Go ahead.
I'll ask you this question a lot over the course of the next 8 weeks as well, 7 weeks. But how quickly can this defense come together chemistry-wise with all these new signings and then to come out essentially play your Super Bowl in week 1.
Yeah.
And then they won't play a team as good as the Chiefs all throughout the year.
Yeah, it's probably everybody.
Right. But I mean, it's almost like NASCAR where you play your Super Bowl in the first race of the season and then everything else is not an afterthought, but everything else drops off after that.
It's second rate. Everything else is second rate, to your point. For the defense, Ryan, a defense can come together much faster than offense. Because the defense is one of those things, man, like you're really out there operating on instinct. Like you mix skill with instinct. It's all right, cool, I'm a defensive back. I'm judging his up front foot. I'm looking at his lean. It's all instinct. You're very instinctual, but then you get into a game plan. Once those guys start having some success, it's easy to feel guys quickly. Like, okay, cool, I know this. If I'm the safety, if I'm C.J. Gardner-Johnson, I start to understand. Cam likes to get his hands on the DBs. Cam likes to be physical at that line of scrimmage. I'm going to make sure that he has ample opportunities to play one-on-one coverage sometimes, even if it's not called for that. Like, even if it's a zone coverage, hey, yo, Cam, you go ahead. You play man on this play. I got you. I'll cover your back. Once they start to get into that rhythm, defense is easier for it to happen. It can happen in the first 4 games, like where you just like, oh, they get to the line of scrimmage. He does that. I can do this. I can adjust this. You're playing off of people on defense, and guys get good at easy. Offense, everything has to hit perfect. Like as a wide receiver, how does the quarterback like to throw the ball? How strong is his arm? How fast does he see something? On the line protection, how do they slide? It's a lot of moving parts when you're on offense. Defense, guys, we just got to go out there and make the play. Get to the quarterback. See ball, get ball.
I think the Lions will be a top 15 defense.
I do too.
This year. All right? We all know what they've been in the past. All right? But that ain't now. This is the brand new 2023 team. And they did draft a kid. What's the Broderick Martin kid that they brought in?
He's a project. He's a project, though.
I know he is. So's Victor Wembanyama. I'm just saying. They got to all prove themselves. When they get on the real deal, they got to prove themselves. I just believe what the Lions did in their secondary should tell this guy, Randy Mueller, hey, man, back off. Take a look at what they did. If this group plays together, they're going to be one of the better secondaries in the NFC, if not the whole NFL.
But didn't you say the article for Randy Mueller was more of a
he's just picking some weak spots.
He's looking, but
Yes.
everybody, he's looking at all
Correct.
32 teams. So based on what he saw, I don't think he's wrong. I don't think he's wrong. But to your point, they've made the strides to be better.
Correct.
So they're going to be better than what I agree with both of you guys. Yeah.
2022, you don't get to carry that record over, that 8-2 record. You do not get to carry it over, nor do you get to carry over your statistics from 2022 and just cherry pick the good ones. But in the Lions' first 7 games, they allowed 30 points a game. In their last 10 games, they allowed 20 points a game. Now, let's just say that ticks up to 21, 22, 23 points a game. The Lions should win 11, 12 games. Just based on the fact that their offense should still be a top 3, 4, 5 at worst offense.
He says, if you read more of the article, at the end of it, he's like, hey, if they don't stop anyone, it's going to be fun to see how many they can outscore because they have one of the better offenses. So if their defense really doesn't step up, they still got a hell of an offense, and I think it got better.
Yeah. But things like that confuse me. Like in one breath you say, not you, talking about Mueller. In one breath you say oh, the defensive line, they didn't address this. Last year they gave a 5.2, blah, blah. And then in the next breath you say, well, they are a really good offense. They're going to outscore a lot of people. That was last year's offense, Mr. Mueller. That's not the same exact offense as this year that they have going into it. So
it's different.
And so he should have said, I'm saying he's talking on both sides.
They got 2 new running backs, a new tight end, et cetera, et cetera.
You know what is funny, and we never talk about him anymore, and I'll tell you who it is next. Also, are the Kansas City Chiefs a dynasty already? A couple of different football topics. The Lion we no longer ever talk about, and the Kansas City Chiefs. I want to get to that next, but first a message from Dispo.
You got me really thinking about this Lion that we no longer talk about. You know
Never
what time
talk
it
about
is. Dispo, best dispensary in the state, more than 9 locations. Romeo is the one we love to go to. We will be at the one in Hazel Park, which we also love.
I like that one.
Friday. You closer. This is true. It is a lot closer. We will be there next Friday, I do believe. 21 and up, recreational only. They have all the best brands from High-Man to Runts. They have them all. Hey, speaking from experience, Dispo is the best dispensary.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media. We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network. How would you like to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win. Courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome. We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports. The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports. Detroit's winning sports network. We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m. We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
You know that there's one particular Lion that we no longer ever talk about.
Let me see if I can guess.
I'll give you each a guess.
Okay.
Go around the room.
Okay.
Braylon Edwards.
Do I get decided? You know what? I won't even say decided.
No, guess. Just take a player.
Tracy Walker.
Nope. Mass?
Come to me last.
Nope. You're up.
Ooh, I like it.
3, 2, 1.
Frank Ragnow.
Nope. JB.
I got another guess.
Nope.
Damn it.
JB?
Jared Goff.
Winner. Winner. We no longer talk about Jared Goff.
Because we believe in him.
We no longer talk about replacing Jared Goff. We no longer fret about paying him $45 million. Jared Goff. The transformation of this player from the time he was shipped off from the LA Rams to a squandering franchise in the Detroit Lions.
Putrid.
Yeah.
The worst in football
Yes.
at the time. To having a terrible year. They got 2 wide receivers. I think it was Brashad Perriman and Mike Williams
Yes.
in year
Yeah.
1. Neither of them panned out. I don't even think either of them maybe played 2 games together at all.
No, he didn't.
So he had a terrible year 1. He is always and I'll be the first to raise my hand. I've been trying to replace Jared Goff since he has been here in Detroit, since the time that Stafford was traded and you got Jared Goff. I no longer mention it. I no longer talk about it. It's almost like amnesia.
Right.
We just forgot that period. Well, at least I forgot about that period that we talk about replacing Goff week in, week out, day in, day out. You need a topic, you replace Jared Goff. We don't talk about that anymore. This guy feels, and again, it's just the offseason,
Right.
but it feels like he is just entering his prime. It feels like he owns this football team. He commands this offense. It feels like he is the long-term solution for the Detroit Lions now and moving forward for what we hope is a good 5 to 6 year run that the Lions are about to embark on. You could tell me about 8 and 10 years. There's a good 5 to 6 year window where I think the Detroit Lions can be Super Bowl contenders. And Jared Goff, it starts with Jared Goff.
When Jared Goff came here, he was coming under a situation where basically Sean McVay had got rid of him in the middle of the night. Like, didn't even do this man the courtesy to tell him why he was going to Cabo, what was on the table, what was potentially hurt. And sometime later, Sean McVay realized he made a mistake because Jared Goff has been nothing but gracious throughout the process. With that being matter, the guy that got shipped to Detroit, Ryan, was a guy that lacked security. He was very insecure. He doubted his talents. He was now in self-doubt. He now doesn't remember or why he was the first player taken overall in 2016 draft, or I think that's about when it was, or 7. He came here in that space. He's going to a bad franchise. This is the place where people come to die. Like, this is the place where careers come to die, or it's the cash grab. Now I'm that guy. I'm going there. He's reinvented himself through Brad Holmes, through Dan Campbell, through this Detroit Lions team, their identity and who they are and the family. He's rebuilt himself. Like, this guy is now, understands that, hell, shoot, I'm the guy that got drafted #1 overall. I'm the guy that took a team to the Super Bowl. I don't care win, lose, or draw. I don't care about Todd Gurley, although he was freaking amazing. Not a lot of quarterbacks can say I got to the Super Bowl. Not a lot of quarterbacks can say I got to the Super Bowl. Now he's the #1 pick overall. He's on his new lease on life as it relates to the NFL, and he's balling. It reminds me of this though, Ryan. There was a quarterback got drafted by the Miami Dolphins, had one good year, and then all of a sudden he started playing bad, got traded, and shipped off to the Tennessee Titans. Then he got to the Tennessee Titans, and they had a running back by the name of Derrick Henry. They had a really good defense, and then they started balling. And by since, Ryan Tannehill started balling as well. I guarantee you the Tennessee people were asking those same questions, like, who's going to get a quarterback? How are we going to replace Tannehill? Who's the guy next year? Who are we going to go after? And then you start to have success, and now the Tennessee Titans are getting to the playoffs regularly. Now the Tennessee Titans are the #1 seed. Now the Tennessee Titans are in the AFC. But then once the running game and the offensive linemen started getting hurt, the running game started to deteriorate. Well, we started to see who Ryan Tannehill was again, and now they're moving off of Ryan Tannehill for Will Levis. Will that be the case with Jared Goff, where you're like, he's good now, but is he going to win you a Super Bowl?
That's the question, right?
Seen, yeah.
I mean, that's the question until you get an answer to that question.
Yeah.
That's an open-ended question. I mean, if I would have told you when Ryan Tannehill played for Miami, who was ultimately cut, if I would have told you that he would one day lead a team to be the #1 seed in the AFC, You would have told me I was lying. You would have told me that I did not know football.
I'd put my hand on your forehead and check your temperature.
You would have told me I didn't know anything about football if I assumed that Ryan Tannehill was going to lead any team to a number 1 seed in any conference.
Yeah, and what's unfair about that example? I'm sure people are already pointing on a comment at me in the comment section. Yes, Jared Goff went to the Super Bowl. Ryan Tannehill did no such thing in Miami. We're just pointing out a little bit. But right now, Ryan, like you said, he's confident. He's exuding confidence. The team is loving him. We love him. We trust him. You saw what he did last year, even in bad spots. I mean, he didn't turn the ball over. I mean, Jared Goff didn't play great the whole year, but he didn't turn the ball over. Even when he wasn't playing his best, he didn't turn the ball over, and that gives you chances. That gives you opportunities. When you're playing bad, you're only 179 yards, can't necessarily hit all the receivers. If you're not turning the ball over, you still got a shot.
I've been against Jared Goff too, so I apologize to him already, and I'll do it again, and I'll say, hey, I hope the next 5 or 6 years, like Ryan is saying, that he leads the Lions to the playoffs and wins and gets to the Super Bowl and wins the Super Bowl. They drafted their future quarterback in Hendon Hooker. He's got time to sit back and wait. There's no rush. If Goff played like he played last year or even better, give him the contract. If he doesn't, you play it by ear. You put him under a franchise tag for a couple of years till you're comfortable with Hendon Hooker, and then you go forward with that. It's really simple. The Lions right now are finally playing with house money.
Yes, they are. Go ahead, Ryan.
I want to ask you guys this question, Braylon. This was a question you brought up in our show prep thread. Are the Kansas City Chiefs a dynasty?
Yes, here we go, baby.
So Maz found this tweet today. It was put out, actually. It's by a gentleman named Farzan Vuskofkian, if I'm saying his name right. In the 6 years ago today, Brett Veach was named the general manager of the Chiefs. Since then, the Chiefs have had the most Super Bowl wins, the most Super Bowl appearances, the most hosted conference title games, the most division titles, the most playoff wins, and the most regular season wins.
Amazing.
They've won 74 regular season games, 11 playoff wins, 6 division titles, 5 AFC conference title games. They've hosted 3 Super Bowl appearances and 2 Super Bowl wins. If that does not constitute a dynasty in the free agent era, then I don't know what does. I think you could put in many people, maybe most people, I don't know, would constitute, well, you can't be a dynasty unless you've won back-to-back Super Bowls. I do not subscribe to that theory.
2 out of 3 is not bad.
2 out of 3 is not bad. But also, would you consider the San Antonio Spurs a dynasty?
Yes,
they
were.
never won back-to-back championships. They won 5 titles, never won back-to-back championships. So I do not constitute that as a prerequisite for me. I absolutely think this is a dynasty. Now, if it ended today, it was a dynasty in the National Football League because nobody else owned the league like the Chiefs have over the last 6 years.
The question is, what constitutes a dynasty? You know, and there you start. Maz, I knew you would appreciate my work that I put together.
Yes, you do.
Who are the dynasties? Well, you know what? I went back through the annals of history, and I placed them, and we'll talk about them, and we'll compare Kansas City to what they did. The first dynasty is probably the Green Bay Packers. Would you agree, man? They won
100%.
67, 68. They won back-to-back. Therein line, they become a dynasty. The next one, the Miami Dolphins. They lost in 72, but what did they do, Maz? They go perfect record in 72, 73, and then they win 74 as well. Definitely a dynasty.
No doubt.
3 appearances, 2 wins in 3 years. No, Minnesota Vikings. This is a question. Went to 3 Super Bowls, 74, 75, lost in 77. They lost all of them. Are they a dynasty?
They went in 72. They went in 70 as well and lost.
Exactly. So they went 4 times in 6 years. They never won, but you know why I'm setting that up. You know how good I am. I'm setting it up for another team. Pittsburgh Steelers, 75, 76, 79, 78. They won 4 titles in 5 years.
For sure.
Here we go. Is that the music you want to go to?
Yep, we'll pick it up.
Let's pick it up when we get back.
Pick it up next. Give it the appropriate time it's due. Guys, we're going to take a break. We'll come right back with that. Also, explosive allegations against Northwestern University and their football program.
I can promise you they're not allegations.
We'll get to that next, but first, a message from Planet Fitness.
Yes, summertime is a great time to join Planet Fitness and beat low E. Planet Fitness is your home of the judgment-free zone where anyone, and I mean anyone, can feel comfortable and work on their fitness goals. At Planet Fitness, you'll experience a squeaky clean gym with tons of equipment, a full body workout in just 30 minutes in a 30-minute circuit, and all memberships include fitness training. So no matter where you are, you can best believe there is a Planet Fitness nearby. With more than 50 convenient locations in the Metro Detroit area and thousands more throughout the world, you cannot go wrong with getting your workout in. For more information or to join today, visit your local Planet Fitness right now, or always check them out online at planetfitness.com.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m. You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
How about that rookie? He is something else. How big is that?
All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
What constitute a dynasty? Talking about the 6 years of the Kansas City Chiefs and the 6 years since Brett Veach has taken over. 3 Super Bowl appearances, 6 division championships, 11 playoff wins. Braylon Edwards, you've been going through the NFL in terms of dynasties and where you think the Chiefs one is.
Right. I left off on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Obviously, they won 75, 76, and 79, and 80. And another big thing, which you'll hear me say again, they never lost a Super Bowl in that stretch run. Maz brings up another one. The Dallas Cowboys, they won in 72, 75, and they also lost 2 Super Bowls in that same time frame. So, yes, Maz, thank you for pointing that out. Then we go to Las Vegas or Oakland or Los Angeles Raiders. They won 77 and 81. But they went to the AFC title game like 6 years in a row. Mm-hmm. Like, they only won 2, but they were the dominant team, them and the Steelers. So I snuck them in there, if you will. San Francisco, they won 82, 85, 89, 90. You can even stretch it to 95. They never lost. Buffalo Bills, they lost 91, 92, 93, 94.
Amazing.
They went 4 years in a row. I mean,
amazing.
They didn't win it, but are they a dynasty?
Yes.
Dallas Cowboys, 93, 94, 96. Denver Broncos, 98, 99. The New England Patriots, the first one, 02, 04, 05. They lost in 08. And then the second one, 12, 15, 17, 19, and Tom Brady, 21. Pittsburgh Steelers are the interesting one because they remind me of the Kansas City Chiefs too a little bit. In terms of 06, they win. They win 09. And they had a chance to win in 2011, and they lost to Aaron Rodgers. That would have been interesting. Kansas City is by far a dynasty if you just go by these teams. Like,
New England had 2 dynasties,
and they had 2 or one very long one. Like, however you want to
count it as a long one.
You'll be right either way. Yeah. Like, you'll be right either way. Kansas City, I'm talking about the dominance in the division. I mean, the conference, the division. Talking about going to 3 Super Bowls, and we can't play the if game because Maz pointed this out last week. You're very correct. Injuries are a part of the game. If this whole offensive line doesn't go down, Tampa may not win that Super Bowl.
Yeah,
I'm not playing the if. It was just I just had to say it. He's been to 3 Super Bowl. He's won 2, and you're talking about at a time where, correct me if I'm wrong, This is the hardest it's ever been to win a Super Bowl.
Well, that's just kind of where I was going to go with this too, Braylon, because you went back to the Packers of the '60s and
I was just bringing up the dynasties.
But I mean, you're just talking about NFL dynasties and where it ranks, and not to poo-poo what Green Bay did or what Dallas did in the '70s or what the Steelers did in the '70s or what the Los Angeles/Oakland Raiders did over the time. I don't think you can compare that NFL with this one, with all of the free agency, all of the player movement, all of the expansion, the big contracts, the salary cap, because what the salary cap has done, I mean, you've got quarterbacks eating up 25% of your cap.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to figure out the other 52 guys with essentially 75% of the cap.
Can you imagine trying to keep the steel curtain in today's NFL?
It wouldn't happen.
After you pay Terry Bradshaw $200 or the $500 million.
That's why you can't even. That's why you can't even compare with
the 49ers.
That's why you can't even compare what a definition of a dynasty is in the '70s, or even the 49ers of the '80s, or the Cowboys of the '90s.
I was just thinking that I would love to have seen what was their payroll in '90 if you would equate it to today's salary.
Can you imagine Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith,
$400 million,
Michael Irvin?
He'd been $250.
Alvin Harper.
He would have been Christian Kirk for $24 million.
Just do the offensive line.
Nate Newton.
Yeah, just do the Mark Tuitt.
Oh my God, those are Trent Williams type deals.
Exactly. I didn't even mention one defensive player that they had.
Nate Newton.
Nate Newton was offensive line.
I could bring the Lions into this.
Leon Lett.
Deion
Woodson.
Sanders.
Ball game. Darren Woodson's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Ken Norton Jr., Charles Haley.
Come on, man.
After 2014, the NFL changed the way the salary cap was and changed who you could pay. And what team got screwed? Your Detroit Lions. Because they could not keep all three, and they let Ndamukong Suh walk. And I know he wanted to, but they could have enticed him to stay, and I think his career would have been different. And I think the Lions would have won a Super Bowl had he stayed.
Matthew Stafford, the day he got drafted, the day he signed, he was the highest paid player in the NFL.
That's it.
And then they changed the rule. Can't
keep them all.
No.
This happened to be on our time.
Yeah. Exactly.
Once again, Detroit was the screw job.
It is a backdoor screwing. No question.
Speaking of that, Northwestern.
Terrible joke.
Terrible segue.
But it was necessary.
It was. I didn't know how else to get there, guys. I apologize. I didn't know how else to get there. But Northwestern is in the news
good grade.
for all the wrong reasons. Northwestern's football team really in a lot of trouble now. The headline at ESPN, Fitzgerald absolutely knew of hazing. And some of the, I don't even know if I want to read some of the detail. No, I did read it, but I'm talking about on the air. Some of this is like a family show.
Yeah, but it's Fox 2 covers it, so
but I'm not sure we're.
You don't got to discuss what they did, but you could tell they picked after these freshmen.
What they actually did in terms of hazing, like dry humping, allegedly from behind these
freshmen that made mistakes during practice. And the thing is, they had the signal. The signal was a hand clap above the head. And that meant that guy was going to get, they called it, washed. He was going to get washed. And that's how it started. And you know what? They used to say, Pat Fitzgerald in practice, if he saw a mistake, he'd go, and then the guys, the seniors or whoever was in charge of the hazing knew, okay, we got to get number 73 there when he gets in the locker room. There was a lot of stuff going on, including spraying with a hose, like you're spraying a freaking circus animal. They were spraying these guys down.
I got sprayed with a hose during Hell Week of my fraternity.
Yeah, I just think it's I hate it.
Getting sprayed with a hose is not getting dry humped from behind by a bunch of dudes. Can I just say this, but then I'm going to let you go, Braylon. And in fact, the entire segment.
Introduce the other allegation too. That way,
well, this one I haven't had a chance to read this. This is great. This just dropped.
Yeah. You want to finish reading this for everyone that can't read it, right? Finish reading it.
We are rushing so fast to get anonymous voices who think they might know what Fitzgerald knew. Let's all get to the bottom of this. Whatever it is, my mind is open, but we are going backwards here.
And a lot of people have gone after Darren Rovell online about supporting this and dropping this to keep going. A lot of people are going after him. So
look, we all
shout out to
have
him.
personal relationships too. I mean, we all have personal relationships in this business. And what did I think of Shemmy Schembechler?
Yeah.
Shemmy Schembechler.
They ended that pretty quick.
They did, but John Bacon, who is a guy that I know, I think pretty darn well.
Yeah, we both did.
This guy is as admirable, and is as a stand-up a guy as you could possibly have in life. When he said he was shocked to know that Shemmy is, has these beliefs or whatever he was tweeting about, I believe him. I do. Other people may not. But if we're a long way to get to, if Darren Rovell knows Pat Fitzgerald as one thing and he's really something else, I think you are allowed to be shocked.
Yes, you are.
Everybody doesn't know everything about every
There are a lot of
human being that
people
they know.
shocked about Fitzgerald. A lot of people are shocked.
He is the darling of college coaches.
Yeah, but he's crooked because
Clearly.
because he knew. The latest now are allegations of prejudice.
Racism.
And we could put that tweet
This
up.
Daily
if you have that.
Northwestern just came through. I have not had a chance to read it, but I want you to say what you know, Braylon. We'll take a break. We'll do it next. I just can't even imagine the hazing situation with the dry humping. Can you imagine?
Actually, no, I can't. But I know some of the guys in Northwestern, so that's what I was going to talk about.
Well, we'll do that next.
No.
But first, a message from Randy Wise.
All right, let's do it. How would you like to see your favorite athletes like Jim Harbaugh, Darren McCarty, Braylon Edwards play golf with you guys? Of course you'd like to see that. Randy Wise Automotive and Woodward Sports is going to make it happen for you. It's the Randy Wise Celebrity Golf Tour. Make the wise choice and pay attention to Woodward Sports for more info coming out on how you can play golf like a celebrity.
How about that rookie? He is something else. How big is that?
All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage. Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer. How would you like to win not one, but two vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win. Courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome. You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
How about that rookie? He is something else. How big is that?
All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage. We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
Hey gang, want to tell you about Outdoor Equipment Company, and we will be out there on Thursday. That's right, Outdoor Equipment Company,
Township.
playtime may be over. Your childhood playtime may be over, but your adult playtime is a one-stop shop. Outdoor Equipment Company. They carry top brands of mowers, handhelds, tractors, trailers, and snow equipment. And you better get that snow equipment now because you know it's coming. Again, we'll be out there in Ray Township on Thursday over there in North Avenue area. We want you to come see us. Come check out some man tools, some power tools. OutdoorEquipCo.com. OutdoorEquipCo.com.
Do you know there's Halloween stores open already? And Halloween decorations.
We talked about that today on Fox
And I
2.
love Halloween, and it makes me laugh. I'm okay with it. I really don't care that it's out. I really like seeing it. But it's so funny. It's July.
Right.
We got August, September, and October. You have 3 full months plus July before Halloween, and you're already seeing. When's back to school start? Anytime
probably
now, right?
already here.
Anytime now.
Once that first day, I feel like this, I felt like this maybe since 7th, 8th grade when I was at UAD. Once that first day of class happens, I feel like Halloween is like the next day. Like that time period between the first class and Halloween goes by like that.
Oh no, I love Halloween.
Hey guys, if you are watching on YouTube, please hit that like button. It helps YouTube push our content out to more people. Tell a friend about Woodward Sports Network. We'd certainly appreciate it. Braylon, I want to get to this major blockbuster story, really, involving Pat Fitzgerald and the Northwestern football team. You've got the hazing allegations, which are brutal.
Yeah.
I mean, it is brutal, and I can't imagine. Forget about Pat Fitzgerald for a second. I cannot imagine a member of the football team doing this to a teammate. And you've been in these rooms, Braylon.
Not that one. Don't put that on me.
But I mean, just
I got you.
as a locker room
to a freshman.
Could you ever imagine doing that to friggin' insert freshman wide receiver here?
Yeah.
And I'm talking about like where the team, the older classmen, are dry humping the player.
Yeah.
That is just, I can't imagine somebody even doing that in a public setting.
How about making the quarterback and the center perform the play nude?
Right, the under center snap nude.
That's another one.
Now I want you to pick that one and pick up on this one because I think you've got a unique perspective that nobody else locally will have here today, and that is this allegation now of racism within the Northwestern football program. Braylon Edwards, this is not good for Pat Fitzgerald.
And it's been happening.
Let's start with the hazing. Okay, we're going to start with the hazing. I've had friends to go to University of Northwestern. I've had Noah Herron, who was a running back. Shoot, Noah had 166 on us my senior year. His sister went to Michigan. I know Tanja Jones went to Southfield Latham. Corey Wooten used to be on Big Ten Network with him. I've been hearing about this crazy stuff for a very long time from these dudes. The hazing part is nuts. I didn't know it was like this. Like, guys didn't even want to talk about it. They be like, yo, the hazing is just like, it's just nuts. Like, they would leave it at that. I didn't know that they were literally talking about the hazing. It's nuts. There's one thing to when a receiver drops a pass as a freshman, we punch him in the chest or something like that. It's another thing to tape a guy to a goalpost.
Sure.
Dump Gatorade on guys. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, things like that make guys carry your pass. But never to an extent where you embarrass the person, where you might scar them potentially for life.
Yeah.
Like, stuff like that.
There were suicidal thoughts going on here.
You don't recover from stuff like that. Somebody put some Flexol in your helmet. Like, yeah, your head might burn for a couple hours. You can recover from that. You can't recover from homosexual acts. Like Pat Fitzgerald, and I've heard this from a bunch of my friends. Like, Pat Fitzgerald is a frat boy. Like, there's one thing to be in a fraternity, Ryan. You're in a fraternity.
Yes.
I'm in a fraternity. There's another thing to be a frat boy where you utilize the fraternity for extraness, and you do extra things, and you do the most at every given point. Like, Pat just looks like that. The fact that you would let this go on, the fact that you would allow this hazing stuff to get to that point where it's ridiculous. Now, the racial stuff, definitely have been hearing about this for a very long time. Pat Fitzgerald didn't invent racism at Northwestern. I've been hearing from this from my friends even before I was in college. They choose a certain type of individual to go to that school. There are certain kids they choose. You see the kids that go to Northwestern, they aren't inner city kids. They aren't kids that's going to go up there and look at that and be like, oh, hell no, you ain't about to dry hump me. Like, what the hell you think they do that at? They choose kids that have dealt with certain racism and let it slide. Kids that have gone to certain private schools that are predominantly white or dealing with certain, and things are said. Look, I get it. Like, when I was at UAD, a lot of comments being said, but you know what happens? it just becomes second nature. Like, it becomes second nature and you roll on about your business. Those are the type of kids that they give scholarships to. Those are the type of kids that go there, that come from private schools, that go to predominantly white schools. So they're used to certain verbiage. They're used to certain things. So they turn a blind eye, or they're already equipped to ignore it, if you will. It's a terrible situation and it's a terrible behavior, and it's a reason they go after those guys so that this can go on for longer and longer and longer. They're not bringing brothers in there that's like, nah, this is some bullshit. You know, they're not bringing those type of guys in. I'm glad that somebody has shed a light, because I heard horror stories about the racism. I didn't even know about the hazing.
They make them drink. They made them drink these Gatorade shakes as well, like until they completely threw up or passed out, and they were sick for days.
Man,
I
don't want to cut you off. I just thought about something. Ryan, my freshman year at Michigan, there was an offensive lineman for Northwestern that died on the field of exhaustion. He was a rookie. He died, and he and Corey Stringer, remember Corey Stringer?
Of course, Minnesota.
When Corey Stringer died, they happened the same year. But once Corey Stringer died,
those were the years of the doubles and triple practices.
and that was my freshman and sophomore year, so I had doubles. The training camps that they go through now, laughable. I remember what real two-a-days looks like. But when that guy died in Northwestern, there were a lot of questions surrounding, was it the heat? And then Corey Stringer died, so it kind of helped the situation out. Maz, I'm not trying to reopen any cases or anything like that. He was a freshman. We're talking about freshmen being hazed to a certain extent. What if they made him run an insurmountable amount of gassers, an insurmountable amount in a 102-degree heat,
or overdrink like they were making people
did
do.
some dumb stuff like that? But when you do dumb stuff, when your institution has now been put under a microscope, you start to find all types of stuff.
Well,
man.
that's just it. It's just like you don't want the IRS to
Hell
go
no.
to audit you.
No,
right?
you don't.
I mean, because one thing they're going to find something.
You're going to find
you
something.
know,
the school newspaper did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, and they usually do. They have one of the best journalism schools, journalism
Mike Greenberg,
schools.
right?
Yep. Well, Greeny and Tirico and everything. No, Tirico went to Syracuse. But a million great journalists went to Northwestern. They have a great program, the Medill School of Journalism at Northwestern. It's second to none. But I will say, just no conjecture here. There's one player that made this allegation of hazing. One player, one anonymous player that made this allegation of hazing. Pat Fitzgerald was suspended without pay for 2 weeks, and then there was a letter written by, it was signed, it says written by and signed by the entire, and entire is in all caps, the entire Northwestern football team, saying this is a bunch of baloney, is a bunch of, this stuff is not true, this didn't happen, this is so materialized into non-truths.
If you ask Adolf Hitler's generals, if you ask Adolf Hitler's soldiers,
well,
what was Adolf Hitler? They're not gonna be like, oh my God, he was the worst ever, blah blah blah. They're under a mold. They're, speaking of washed, they're brainwashed. That's a great name for what he calls this thing. They're brainwashed. When you've been under a certain type of, let's say this is true. Let's say it's all true, which I know the racism part is. If you've been under a certain mind wash or brainwash for a long time, like, you're not gonna, like, it's what do you call it, the condition, Stockholm syndrome.
Two things about this. Number one, that part of it, however you want to deduce whatever you want to deduce from it, that part, I just wanted to lay a groundwork for the discussion there based on it, because it is one player, he is anonymous, and then the entire football team signs a letter saying this is not true, and they fully support Pat Fitzgerald. Whether you call it brainwash or not, wouldn't you say that most athletes in college are quote-unquote brainwashed by their coach?
Not brainwashed to deal with things that are on that level. Like, I mean, this is supposed to be, I hate using this word, I'm actually using it in a joke metaphor. This is the woke era. These are the super smart individuals. These are these are the ones that know right from wrong. These are the ones that can look at the situation. These are the ones that are like, nah, that's not me. Nah, I'm leaving. I'm in the transfer portal. In a time of transfer portal, in a time where you don't have to be stuck at that school. Like, if this is Michigan in the 70s and 80s, okay, if this is name another institution, Penn State, if this is them back then, this is 2023, Ryan. You can get up and walk out the door. You can just get up and leave. So, I mean, it's a real thing.
Yeah, so however you want to characterize
So it's only one guy? I thought there were others
No,
that
it's just
came up
one
and
guy.
said the same thing.
Three for the
player.
racism, one for the hazing.
Yeah. And to be honest, like both terrible. I just the hazing one. I feel like I don't know.
Where are the other guys? Where are they?
I mean,
where are the other guys that got hazed?
It's just like Bobby Knight. Like nobody else wanted to speak up against Bobby Knight.
I know that. I remember that.
Even when the one kid who it took forever to
had it on video.
The point guard, he still wouldn't go out against Knight.
Let me just ask you this one question.
Bunch of cowards.
I put it to you this way: if I'm a senior, like you can go by grade. If I'm a fourth year Maz, I'm like, nah, I don't have a quick. I'm getting the hell out of here. I'm out in a year. Like, I'm done. I'm about to be out of here. I don't feel like dealing with this. If I'm a freshman, I don't know what's standard quo. I don't know to speak up. Like, if I'm a sophomore or junior, I'm in the middle of...
You know what's human and what's not human.
Let me ask you.
It's true, but you don't want to be the one... Like, they're machines. Like, if you go to the media and say, hey, I'll go on record as... Northwestern is a machine. The institution will bury you.
I know that.
And that's what you worry about. You worry about the institution burying you and making you out to be some pariah and nobody else having your back.
Let me ask you this one question. And it's an honest question. Let's take the break to think about this for a minute. After seeing what happened to Duke lacrosse, after watching the piece on Matt Ariza, after believing essentially Deshaun Watson over 30 masseuse people,
50.
why are we so sure that this one maybe disgruntled anonymous Northwestern football player, why are we so sure that this guy is telling the truth? Answer me that question next. But first, a message from I'm not saying he's not truthful, but why are we so positive that this is absolutely true? But first, a message from Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk into any Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically enter for your chance to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice, courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. That's right, 2 cars. One for you, one for your wife, your girlfriend, your best bud. Lady Jane's, it's open 7 days a week. You can walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer. You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media. Like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports. We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
I just think that's. Oh, hey, welcome back. What do you know you guys are there?
I mean, we're blown away by this conversation because, and look, we all see this through our own lens.
This is how you know it was serious. I had to close the laptop.
But again, we all see this through our own lens, right? I mean,
we get instantly pissed.
Like we all again. Whereas Braylon, you may look at this and focus purely on the racial aspect of it. Me, I look at it and I cannot imagine this hazing thing. It's just we all have differences. There are different things about us. We all see things through our own lens. My mind immediately goes to the hazing aspect of it and the horrific. You should go to jail if you do this to somebody. where you might see something a little bit different.
Yeah.
I just don't know after seeing time and time again where we have seen these false accusations, whether it's Duke Lacrosse or just more recently the Matt Ariza, the Bills punter. Go watch that Real Sports episode from a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and tell me this kid didn't get railroaded. So I just pause now.
Yeah.
I just pause. Before I immediately react or crucify somebody,
Right.
I just pause. And that might be unpopular, but that's what I do when it comes to this.
Yeah, I wish the legal system would just pause. I called my boy Corey, man. I'm going to see what he says about the situation. At the end of the day, look, let's wait. Let's see. Let's do the patient thing. As it relates to it being one person, Ryan, I find it hard to believe that someone would create a story so far-fetched. Like, if you told me to come up with something to get a coach fired, like if you told me, like, look, I know you hate that mofo, like I hate him too, let's me and you come up with a plan to get coach fired. Never in my wildest dreams would I ever think to come up with a scenario where the freshmen were made to do the quarterback center exchange butt-ass naked and then actually execute. In my wildest dreams, I don't care if I had J.R. Tolkien help me write this lie that we're creating, I wouldn't have been able to come up with that. So I find that situation a little tough, but I don't know. The racism stuff, I do. I named three former Northwestern alumnus that have told me that same thing. So that part I know to be true. The hazing, I don't know, but I know that's kind of far-fetched.
Right.
That's pulling one out of you.
So, Steve Wilds here. Shame on you for assuming he is a liar. Screw you, Steve. Screw
We're not
you.
assuming. We're not assuming.
You know, I am assuming that I need more information.
Where are the other cowards? That there are other guys that got hazed. He said it. There's a whole bunch of people that have been hazed, and this poor bastard's the only guy that's speaking up. And I hate it.
I mean, I'm just saying too, because take the Matt Ariza, and I keep going back to this. If you would have believed what she said Matt Ariza gang raped her. He wasn't even in the house at the time. So if I didn't just automatically believe Matt Ariza's accuser, I would think that this young man should be criminally charged and go to jail if he's out there gang raping people. But it's people like you, Steve, that cause people like us to overly react because you need your frickin' instant gratification. Screw you. Go find another show. Seriously, because we're going to pause here. We're going to pause when it comes to gun charges with Imani Bates. We're going to pause when it comes to Mozzie Smith. We're going to pause to allegations of rape. We're going to pause to allegations of DUI. We're going to pause on a lot of these things because we think that's the responsible thing to do. Now, Braylon has actual firsthand evidence of the racism stuff. That is not waiting for anything. He has that information. So that's one element to it. But when you have one person who apparently, through the grapevine, was saying he was going to do anything he could to bring down Pat Fitzgerald,
right?
I am going to take a pause.
I agree.
So there you go. That's what we do here. We take our time with big topics like that.
I hate. This is one of the reasons I always did not like being on a team. And I mean, in high school, wrestling team, the football team, and then into college, same kind of thing. The macho guys, when you join a frat, the stupid things that they make you do to prove that you belong. I don't go. See, I'm not that. I never would want to go to hell. Leave me alone. I'm a teammate. I'm a frat brother. Don't make me do the stupid things to prove that I belong. I never agreed with it. I didn't want my daughters to join a sorority. I didn't, because I just think I just don't like it. It's just not for me. They did anyway, and they love it for the most part. But the downside is girls are hard on each other, very hard on each other. Pick on each other to a point where a girl don't feel good anymore, don't want to even be around anymore. So these things happen. This hazing, nothing bothers me more than this hazing process. Nothing.
You got a final word, Bray?
And I hope they just, just do your due diligence. Do the due diligence, find out what's really going on. I hope they provide a safe, let's say it's true, I hope they provide a safe space so that some of these other individuals can come out if this is a real deal, which, like I said, I can't see somebody making up something as creative as that. Provide a safe space so you get more people to come out. And that's what you've kind of seen in the Larry Nassar situation in Michigan State. They really provided a safe space for those young girls to come out and tell their stories, tell testimonies, and it made the case work. It made the case strong, So provide a safe space, because guys look at it as, it's these big guys. What do you mean safe space? Look, if they were as bad as they want to, man, these guys are effed up. Like, these guys would be jacked up thinking about these things, messes with your identity and everything else. So provide a safe space, get some girl statements. Let's see what really was going on.
And let's just say this, too, Bray.
Why is it always the Big Ten? Damn.
Seriously. And let's just say this, too.
Michigan, Ohio State, Michigan State.
Let's say this one individual is not being extremely truthful about the hazing incident. If this racism charge now that the Daily Northwestern wrote about
needs to be separate.
Well, what I'm saying is, forget about the hazing. If Pat Fitzgerald is fostering a culture of allowing racism to happen under his watch, bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. And that's totally two separate things. But if you are fostering that kind of culture at your place, see ya.
If either one is true,
bye-bye.
Out.
Yeah. And if both are true,
go to jail.
Right.
Hey, do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
Good stuff, Ray. More tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
That's a hell of a way to start a Monday.
We didn't even talk about the Tigers draft. Home run derby tonight.
We'll talk about it
tomorrow. Home run derby, all-star game tomorrow.
Man. We'll talk about it tomorrow. We'll lead the show with it tomorrow.
Thank you.
How about that?
Tell everyone what I had on the lead of the show.
Adolis is winning, by the way.
Not Braylon. Maz had to lead the show today. Tigers blow series finale versus Jays. Copa packed. Largest crowd weekend series since 2017. Max Clark being picked by the Tigers. Home run derby tonight in Seattle, everybody.
And we didn't talk about any of it.
Didn't get to any of it.
Last off for the night, man. Those Pistons look fast this past weekend.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys tomorrow.